Hi, my name is Diana, Communications Assistant for the City of Enid, and welcome to another COVID. With the pandemic, communications have gone from regular communications to crisis communications. But before we get into crisis communications, what is communications? You're the Director of Communications, so what is that?
Well, I can give an overview of our department, exactly what we do. But so in the communications department, what we do is we try to deliver transparent information, relevant information in a timely fashion and be concise about the information. One thing about the department, we always try to stand in the middle ground. So we're the voice to the people and the voice from the people to the city management, to the commissioners and the mayor. That's where we stand. We're always there in the middle.
So we're the middleman.
Yes.
We're the invisible
mediators.
Mediators. Okay.
Yes.
Great. Now, the City of Enid has 32 departments. So those are and plus the mayor and the city manager and assistant, all of them. We collaborate with them and then pass on information through what mediums?
So there are various mediums that we use. I'm going to go to point here on the PowerPoint. So we use outside external sources such as the newspaper. We use communication platforms such as social media and the website. And we actually have C-Click Fix, which we can utilize to communicate road closures or any other pertinent information that we need to get out. And C-Click Fix also is an app or a website. You can go to cclickfix.com, or you can go download the app on your Google Play and iPhone store, iTunes store, to utilize just to take a picture of a pothole or a picture of a light out, and it reroutes directly to that department to handle those issues. Another way we communicate, right now we're utilizing Suddenlink cables to replay all of these announcements, such as all of our COVID-19 updates that we've had with St. Mary's and Garfield County Health Department and those types of interviews. So we use all those mediums when it comes to communicating to the public.
Now, how did, with the pandemic, regular communications convert over to crisis communications? How did it affect the communications department, not only our department, but all over the world, really?
Well, it gave us way more to do. Those things that we were doing, we were on our way. Starting last year, we were trying to do more government 101 educational, instructional videos to kind of explain the processes of government, because there's a lot of misinformation of how it works. So many don't understand the process it takes to get a road reconstructed, even the amount it takes for road reconstruction. I recall us putting on social media about in 2019 we spent $5 million on roads, and that detail was like way out there. A lot of people said it's not possible. That's a lot of money. But if you look at the statistics worldwide, even when you come to federal, state roads government, you'll see that the cost of 1 mile is always approximately $750,000 to $1 million or so for just 1 mile of construction. So when you're doing roads, big roads like Cleveland or Willow, or other maintenance on roads throughout the city or throughout the state, it's very costly. And we want to, so one of the things we're decided to do is to do more detailed, putting the detailed pricing of each construction, try to put that online so it can be transparent, so people can understand, okay, this part of the road that you were looking at really cost us $30,000 to do this section. Or to do this 1 mile costs us 1.5 million or whatever the cost is, to kind of explain and show people the transparency so they'll know that the money is spent for the road construction. Just an example.
So in crisis management, transparency is even more crucial. So all the updated information that you receive, do you automatically release it quickly?
Every information that we receive from our as soon as we get the information. For instance, that's another thing I've seen that's been kind of misinformed with the public, and many times they don't understand that, like, the health field is a different entity than the city government. For instance, there's HIPAA laws, and they won't give us the information until it's time to release it. And usually it's the State Department that releases information, and the county can't do much until the state releases it, for instance. And the hospital's another segment. You have private practitioners is another segment, and we don't have the information about COVID-19 information until that is released to us.
So there is a tiny lag. So it's not that we're holding information, holding back. It's just that we're waiting for it to receive it.
Yes, we don't even have the information. But as soon as we get the information, then we can share that information.
And it's the communications department's focus to respond when you do have that information.
Yes. One of our goals is to be transparent. Like I said, part of it is to be timely, concise, and transparent with everyone in the community. Because guess what? We are residents and citizens ourselves. But a lot of times the information may be known outside because someone has a family member within the health field. So they have information that even the city doesn't have. You know, that is always a possibility.
So in the beginning of this crisis, was it the City of Enid's goal to act quickly by establishing dynamic communication channels that will ensure that you can route updated information to employees and the public?
Well, we already had those in place for social media and all of the other media platforms I named earlier. However, we just began to utilize it more. For instance, we didn't have a Monday through Friday COVID-19 update every prior, but we say, oh, we have the ability to live stream and to communicate to the public. We saw that their needs. We looked at various questions online. We say, hey, we need to be able to talk to them basically on almost a daily basis to get updates from the health department or the hospitals or private doctors or whoever, public safety, whatever relates to that they will want to know in every area about COVID-19.
So when it comes to crisis communications, who speaks?
Well, when it comes to, you said COVID-19, but any crisis, you're going to have, it's going to be, the department, communications department is not the only persons that will be handling such. In our charter, we have I'll go to the municipal code. We have municipal code that prior to this, and it's been this way for years, I mean, since the inception of the city of Enid, we've had those in place, municipal code that tells you when time of crisis, we'll have you'll elect a director of emergency management to handle crisis. And in the emergency management, we have created an emergency operations plan. And Annex H, if you look at the entire plan, that talks about outbreaks such as viruses. And so you're going to have the city managers, you're going to have the mayor, then you'll have the director of the emergency management director, of course the communications department, but then depends on what, even in that pandemic, what it is, because you can also have the police chief or the fire department talking about aspects of that in that area. So there's multiple departments that are working together to communicate effectively of what's been done when there's a crisis.
And is it important to have a positive media relation in crisis mode and in regular everyday communications?
Yes, it's very important to have that transparency and to have that type of relationship with the media, especially in times of trouble, because if you have a regular relationship, good relationship, then in times of trouble, they're there to disseminate the information quickly. And there's a lot of what we call rumor mills. For instance, there was a rumor mill that people had to have a paper to prove that they were essential workers, and if not, they would get fined $500. Whereas we were not implementing any such thing, but rumor mill always gets out there quick. And of course, we brought this up to the chief of police, the city management. They're just like we are, like, where they're getting this information from. Like, we're not doing that. Even the highway patrol was called, even for that particular incident, they responded the same way. We're not doing that in the state of Oklahoma. So there's always rumor mills, and sometimes people get the misinformation. So we always want to have that transparent, honest connection between the city and the residents and citizens. And we want that two-way communication, so they can always say, you can come to us. So on our Facebook, Twitter, and all those pages, if the residents just come to us, you can just ask a question. We'll answer it. We'll have the answer. We'll let you know, no, we're not doing this, or we are doing this. We'll give you the information that you're looking for.
So if I were to go onto social media and ask a question, who is taking those questions?
There are several people that are in the communications department. We have a staff of 4. We've had much bigger staff, but at this time we have 4 members of the staff. And sometimes most likely it's going to be someone in the communications department who's responding. However, depending on the question, it takes research at times to get the information from that specific department. And then we'll return the answer to them, or direct the person who asked the question to the person to answer their question by way of phone or email. So there's always a way to get the answer.
So crisis communications is not to hide information, but to keep the information to one news cycle, get everything out the first day or as it develops, line up interviews, return phone calls, answer all follow-up questions. Is that what the City of Enid Communications Department is doing?
Yes, we are striving to do all of that, as far as not to hide information. So that's why we have the website, to be more transparent. We actually have a transparency page on the website, actually, to show them this is all the information. If you want answers, you can contact the city manager, the mayor. Here's their phone numbers. Here are their email addresses. We have the transparentcommunication.org/road projects that shows all of the upcoming road projects, and it even breaks down the ones that we have done, the amount per road what we've spent on that particular portion of construction.
Okay, now, has the City of Enid suspended all other projects, pre-scheduled meetings, media posts in the midst of COVID-19?
There are some meetings and events that have been postponed or rescheduled, but the majority of, for instance, the city commissioner meetings are still going on via Zoom. When you say media posts, you said that we suspended media posts?
Like campaigns as for colleague.
Yes, we have, but that project is ongoing anyway. So, yes, we have we've more focused on the current pandemic, and we're trying to get the questions out and the answers to the residents concerning this pandemic, because we know there are a lot of worries out there. So we're trying to answer these questions as best possible we can.
And so in crisis communications, we're faced with a very unique crisis. Not only it's a health crisis, it's also a business crisis, it's an economic crisis. So when you take different questions and you go to, if you can't answer it, and you follow up with the persons, are you always in mind that even when these questions sound accusational, always respond with the utmost respect and the utmost full information, because you yourself are a resident, I myself are a resident, and if you had these concerns in the midst of everything that's going on, you would want all the information given to you. Like, a lot of people here I feel like want answers and are seeking guidance, and communications are kind of like a leader of information. So it hasn't been tricky for you to handle some of these?
No, not tricky, because I always put myself, and I remind the department always to put yourself in the shoe of the person asking the question. Remember, you are always supposed to stay neutral and be the voice from the person to the government, and bring down the information from the government to the people. Just always stand as a mediator, and because you have to remember. So especially me, when I'm answering a question, I'm always thinking about, I'm going to act like I'm this person, and I'm going to put myself in their shoes, and you can't assume that they have the knowledge that you have. So you have to always put yourself in their shoe. So one of the things that we were really trying to do prior to the COVID-19 was to disseminate the information via more instructional and informational videos to explain the processes, as I mentioned earlier. And we kind of put that on hold, but I still see the need that this is just a very good reason to put those videos out to explain who does what. For instance, when you use the term "the city," most people use that various ways, and some may still not know that this is a city management style government, which means the mayor and the elected officials are the ones who make the laws. The police department, the fire department, and the city manager and the actual city staff carry out those things that were put into laws. So a lot of times the term "the city" is often confused also, because sometimes on the Facebook they said the city is doing this, and actually it's not. It depends on what you mean by the city. It's not the city management. It could be the board, the commissioners who have put this in place, and our responsibility is to carry it out. So we're going to continue to actually make videos of that sort to really explain the depth of how it all works, because many people still are confused about how it all works.
And if there was one thing that you wanted to share with the viewers about the communications department and what they're doing in the midst of COVID-19, what would that be?
I would say just to remember that the communications department is here and understands, because we're residents and we have the same feelings about everything, basically. I mean, we have loved ones that may be out of work, school, kids out of school, what have you, that are affected by this crisis. And so we have the same questions that we want answered. And that's why we have put FAQs out there on our page to explain a lot of the questions that people may have about it, and which they can be found at enid.org/coronavirus. Just want to remind people that, because a lot of people think that the regular workers, that's why I said the term "the city" can often be confusing, because you have 6 commissioners and the mayor, then you have city management and all of the staff. It's approximately 500 people that work for the city, and those people are regular residents that really want the same thing that everybody else has, wants the same thing for the city, just as everyone else does. So we just want to remind people that we're just regular people.
Regular people.
And we'll be glad to answer your questions, because I had these questions and I was wondering what's going on. I want the right answers. So, of course, we work hard to make sure we have the true answers, the transparency. And I'm always, that I'm really concerned about us having the information out there for the people, so they don't even have to ask us. It's just they can go to the website, there's the information. They can just find it.
Now, one last question. When it comes to the communication department, do you feel like it's now, since the information is so fluid, it's now more pressure and to get this information through the outlets, and how are you managing that?
Is it pressure to get the information out? There are a lot of platforms we use. So at any given day, there's a news release. We have to put it there on our website and our Facebooks, Twitter, Instagram. We put it on SeeClickFix. There's a lot of moving parts, but we're trying to, for the radio station, we're trying to get the information to as many platforms. So basically, any platform that the people, the citizens, the residents use, we want to be able to communicate in that fashion. So that's why there's a lot of work when it comes to communicating.
Is that why you guys have started putting, well, we started putting things on Link?
Yes, because now our equipment that we have in the communications department was outdated in December. So because of we didn't have a lot of staff at the time. In the video production area, we had 4 staff at one time, and we're down to 2. So we no longer are live or streaming on Suddenlink, but however, with the partnership, they're allowing us to, they're going to replay our videos that we make Monday through Friday.
Okay, great.
So, which is good.
Awesome. Well, that is it for my questions, and I do not see any online questions unless you have any other closing remarks.
No, I just want so everyone in the city of Enid to know that we are here for them, and any questions you have, you can give us that question. We're here to answer it with the best of our ability, and we will. If we don't know the answer, we will definitely get the answer. Because many times, as I said before, the questions that we may receive are not city government related. However, we will refer the people to the correct department, if it's whether it's the hospitals or the health department or the state of Oklahoma or whoever's involved. We will let them know this is how you get that information, or this is the information from that source. Mm-hmm. We just want that to be better. You know, this is a community. We love our community just as everyone who's in the city. They love the community. They want it to be better. They want their lives to be better. They want the economy to be going. So we want to be there for them, and we want to always put ourselves in the shoes of the other one.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Derek. Okay, and I know that this segment was initially for the respiratory care segment. Mm-hmm. However, we have rescheduled that for a later date, and so this segment was focused on crisis communications with the Director of Communications for the City of Enid, Derek Silas, so thank you. And if you guys have any questions for the communications department, like Derek said, we are happy to answer or find the answer and get it to you. And please come back every day. We are still having COVID-19 live updates at 1:30, and we will see you here tomorrow. Thank you.